Imagine discovering today that what you've been calling a problem is, in fact, the exact mechanism that's reconfiguring your brain to access a reality where common logic doesn't work. Since childhood, we've heard that obstacles are error signals. You need to correct them, work around them, neutralize them. But what if this belief is the greatest deviation from your potential? What we call resistance is, in reality, quantum information compressed in the form of challenge. Every friction you feel, that contract that won't close, the door that won't open, the exhaustive repetition of seemingly dead-end scenarios, is a frequency test. The universe measures whether your internal state already vibrates in the pattern of the reality you claim to desire. When most people flee, you remain. When they complain, you investigate. And it's at this point that the definitive question arises. Will you continue treating resistance as punishment, or will you read it as the access password to superior levels of perception? Today, we're going to decode the paradox of selective difficulty, why only some perceive certain blocks while others don't even come close to them. We'll explore neurological calibration, the invisible process that remaps your synapses to operate beyond conventional limits. And we'll reveal the quantum signature of resistance. Each obstacle carries the exact address of your next expansion. If you're ready to convert frustration into evolutionary fuel, stay, because the next 25 minutes aren't about removing problems, but about transmuting vibrations. Prepare yourself. What seemed impossible will reveal itself as the most precise activation tool you've ever received. Have you ever noticed that certain situations seem to have been programmed specifically for you? I'm not talking about coincidences or bad luck. I'm talking about scenarios that defy all logic, that have no precedent in anyone else's experience around you, and that seem to resist any attempt at conventional solution. Popular belief says that impossible situations are the result of bad luck, negative karma, or simply lack of ability to solve problems. But this interpretation is the greatest misconception about the nature of reality. The truth is that chosen ones attract impossible situations because their consciousness is being trained to operate beyond linear logic. You're not learning to solve problems. You're learning to collapse realities through states of being, not actions. When you face a conventional problem, there's a predictable sequence. Identify the cause, apply the solution, obtain the result. But quantum problems don't follow this mechanic. They exist to force you to abandon cause and effect thinking and begin operating through vibrational coherence. Think about that situation you've been trying to solve for months. How many different strategies have you already applied? How many times has the obvious solution simply not worked? This isn't your failure. It's the universe training you for a completely different type of manifestation. The difference between an ordinary person and a chosen one isn't in what they do, but in what they are. Your internal frequency is what collapses specific possibilities in the quantum field. When you try to solve a quantum problem with linear actions, it's like trying to open a digital door with a physical key. What you call an impossible situation is, in reality, an invitation for you to change your internal frequency until the solution manifests naturally. Not through effort, but through vibrational alignment with the reality where the problem no longer exists. Quantum physics proved that the observer influences the outcome of the experiment. Your consciousness isn't passive. It's the active variable that determines which possibility becomes real. When you face an impossible situation, you're not trying to change it. You're being invited to change yourself until your presence forces a new reality to emerge. Each situation without solution is a mirror of the frequency you haven't yet incorporated. The universe isn't punishing you. It's calibrating you to operate at levels of reality where impossibilities are just transitions between states of consciousness. The next level of manifestation doesn't happen through effort, but through coherence. When you stop trying to solve and begin incorporating the frequency of the solution, reality reorganizes around you. Not because you did something different, but because you became someone different. Impossible situations are laboratories of transcendence. They exist to develop in you the capacity to manifest through presence, not performance. And when you finally understand this, what seemed impossible reveals itself as the most precise activation tool you've ever received. The question isn't how to solve this. The question is, who do I need to become so that this dissolves naturally? There's a specific neurological reason why you can't fit into conventional groups. And this reason has nothing to do with social inadequacy or lack of interpersonal skills. Popular belief says that not fitting in is a sign of a problem, that you need to adapt, be more sociable, or develop better relationship skills. But this interpretation completely ignores what's happening in your brain during evolutionary processes. The truth is that the exclusion of chosen ones is neurological protection. Your brain is being isolated from frequencies that would interfere with the rewiring process for superior capacities. It's not rejection, it's incubation. When you're going through consciential expansion, your nervous system enters a state of high sensitivity. Each social interaction that isn't aligned with your new frequency creates interference in the neural circuits that are being recalibrated. It's like trying to tune a radio station while someone generates static noise nearby. Your brain, in its evolutionary wisdom, automatically repels energies that would compromise the development process. That sensation of discomfort in certain company isn't paranoia. It's your nervous system protecting the integrity of your neurological upgrade. People operating at different levels of consciousness literally vibrate at distinct frequencies. When you're evolving toward superior capacities, your natural frequency becomes incompatible with most conventional social interactions. It's not that you're better or worse, it's that you're operating on a different frequency band, like a radio device that can no longer pick up AM stations after being calibrated for FM. The incompatibility is technical, not personal. The isolation you experience is, in reality, a laboratory of accelerated development. When you're not spending energy trying to fit into dynamics that don't resonate with your evolution, all that energy becomes available for the process of internal expansion. Forced solitude is quantum incubation. It's the universe creating ideal conditions for you to develop capacities that only emerge in states of deep introspection and connection with yourself. Each moment of isolation is a moment of building internal sovereignty. When you stop trying to fit in and begin operating from your authentic frequency, something interesting happens. You develop natural magnetism. Not the desperate magnetism of someone seeking approval, but the effortless attraction of someone who has become sovereign in their own energy. Energetic independence attracts authentic connections. When you no longer need external validation to feel complete, you naturally attract people who operate at the same frequency of authenticity. Temporary exclusion is the price of permanent inclusion in circles of superior frequency. Your inability to fit in isn't a defect. It's a sign that you're being prepared to lead, not follow, to create, not copy, to influence from depth, not surface. The question isn't how to fit in. The question is how to use this isolation to develop the internal mastery that will allow me to influence without depending. Do you recognize this sensation of isolation as neurological protection? Does this new perspective on your social exclusion resonate with something deep within you? Then, before we advance to the next code, leave in the comments a word or phrase that represents the new identity you're activating now. Your declaration is your signal to the field. Have you ever noticed that the most important things in your life always arrive at the most inconvenient moment possible? That opportunity that arises when you don't have money, the relationship that appears when you decided to focus on your career, the inspiration that hits when you're exhausted. Popular belief says that bad timing is a sign of misalignment with universal flow or lack of synchronization with natural rhythms. But this linear interpretation completely ignores how time works in superior dimensions of reality. The truth is that the impossible timing of chosen ones operates in non-linear temporal dimension. You're not being synchronized with the present. You're being aligned with future timelines that haven't yet manifested in consensual reality. Linear time is an illusion of three-dimensional consciousness. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously in the quantum field. When you operate at superior frequencies, your consciousness begins to access information from multiple timelines simultaneously. What you call bad timing is, in reality, synchronization with future potentials. Your consciousness is receiving downloads of possibilities that haven't yet crystallized in present reality, but that already exist as probabilities in the quantum field. Chosen ones are antennas of future possibilities. You're not being prepared for what exists now. You're being calibrated for realities that are emerging. That's why opportunities arrive too early or too late, according to linear logic. Your personal timeline is being synchronized with the collective evolution of consciousness. What seems like impossible timing is, in reality, you being strategically positioned to surf waves of change that most can't even perceive yet. The obsession with perfect timing is a trap of the linear mind. When you wait for the right time, according to conventional standards, you miss quantum windows of manifestation. The universe doesn't operate according to human schedules. It operates according to vibrational coherence. Quantum timing isn't about when something happens on the clock. It's about when your internal frequency is aligned with the frequency of desired manifestation. The right time is when you vibrate at the frequency of the reality you want to experience. The secret to navigating impossible timing is developing temporal anchoring, the capacity to maintain focus and internal coherence independent of present evidence. When you can sustain the frequency of the desired future, even without external confirmation, you accelerate its manifestation. Maintaining faith without present evidence isn't naivety. It's quantum technology. You're literally pulling future possibilities into the present through the gravitational force of your internal conviction. Impossible timing is an invitation to transcend the tyranny of the clock and begin operating according to quantum rhythms. When you stop resisting the universe's timing and begin trusting superior synchronization, you discover that what seemed like the wrong time was in reality the exact moment for your next expansion. The question isn't why not now. The question is, how can I align with the quantum timing that's already orchestrating my evolution? There's a specific reason why your most intense efforts seem to generate the most frustrating results. And this reason has nothing to do with lack of dedication, wrong strategy, or inadequate timing. Popular belief says that consistent effort always generates proportional results. That if you're not seeing progress, it's because you're not trying hard enough or not doing it the right way. But this linear logic completely ignores how the development of superior capacities works. The truth is that the frustration of chosen ones is recalibration of neural circuits. Your efforts aren't being wasted. They're building internal capacities that will manifest exponential, not linear results. You're not failing, you're being forged. When you make intense efforts and don't see immediate results, something profound is happening behind the scenes of your neurology. Each apparently failed attempt is developing neural circuits that didn't exist before. You're literally building invisible manifestor muscles. It's like an athlete who trains for months before breaking a record. Progress isn't linear, it's cumulative. For weeks, it seems like nothing is changing, until suddenly there's a quantum leap in performance. Your frustrated efforts are the invisible training that precedes exponential manifestations. Each time you persist in the face of absent results, you strengthen specific neural circuits related to quantum persistence. It's not just willpower, it's the development of neurological capacities that most people never develop because they give up before activation. Frustration is neural resistance being overcome. When you continue making efforts even without external evidence of progress, you're literally rewiring your brain to operate beyond conventional limitations. Each moment of frustration is a moment of neurological expansion. Quantum manifestation doesn't follow linear progression. It follows exponential patterns. You accumulate potential energy during long periods of apparently unproductive effort until you reach a critical point where everything manifests simultaneously. It's like inflating a balloon. You blow, 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 and nothing seems to happen until suddenly it expands completely. Your efforts aren't being lost. They're being compressed into potential energy that will be released in sudden and powerful manifestation. There's a fundamental difference between insisting and persisting at superior frequency. Insisting is repeating the same actions expecting different results. Persisting at superior frequency is maintaining internal coherence independent of external evidence. Quantum persistence is the capacity to sustain aligned effort even when present reality doesn't reflect your investments. It's not stubbornness, it's operational faith. It's trusting that your efforts are building capacities that will manifest when they reach critical mass. Your frustrated efforts aren't signs of failure. They're signs that you're developing manifestor muscles that most never develop. Each moment of persistence without immediate result is a moment of building exponential capacities. The question isn't, why don't my efforts work? The question is, how can I sustain aligned effort until my internal capacities reach the critical point of exponential manifestation? There's a specific reason why your difficulties seem invisible to the people around you, and this reason has nothing to do with exaggeration, unnecessary drama, or lack of ability to communicate. Popular belief says that if other people can't understand your problems, you must be magnifying normal situations or creating complexity where none exists. But this interpretation completely ignores the multidimensional nature of human experience. The truth is that incomprehension is a sign that you're processing evolutionary frequencies that most can't perceive. Your challenges aren't universal. They're specific to your mission of consciential expansion. It's not that you're different, it's that you're operating in a different dimension. When you're going through consciential expansion, you begin to perceive and process aspects of reality that operate at superior frequencies. It's as if you've developed new sensory organs that capture information that other brains simply don't register. Your challenges exist in this expanded dimension of perception. That's why, when you try to explain what you're experiencing to someone operating at conventional frequency, it's like trying to describe colors to someone who was born blind. It's not lack of empathy, it's perceptual limitation. Each chosen one has a specific function in the process of collective evolution of consciousness. You're not processing only your own challenges. You're processing specific aspects of planetary transformation through your individual experience. Your unique obstacles are downloads of evolutionary information that need to be processed through a prepared consciousness. That's why they're so specific, so intense, and so incomprehensible to those not operating at the same mission frequency. When you seek external comprehension for internal experiences of superior frequency, you create interference in the very process you're trying to validate. It's like trying to tune a radio station while asking other people to confirm if they're also hearing it. Seeking external validation for evolutionary experiences blocks internal processing. Your capacity to trust your own perception is an essential part of developing consciential sovereignty. Others' incomprehension doesn't invalidate your experience. It confirms your evolutionary singularity. The development of trust in your own perception of reality is one of the most important capacities a chosen one can develop. When you stop needing others to validate your internal experience, you develop direct access to quantum information. Perceptual trust isn't arrogance, it's consciential sovereignty. It's the capacity to operate from your own expanded perception without depending on external confirmation. When you trust the singularity of your experience, you become a direct channel of evolutionary information. The incomprehension you experience isn't isolation, it's specialization. You're not being excluded from common human experience, you're being included in an expanded human experience that few can access. Your incomprehensible challenges are your credential for access to superior frequencies of reality. When you stop trying to make others understand and begin trusting the validity of your own experience, you become a bridge between dimensions of consciousness. The question isn't how to make others understand. The question is, how can I completely trust the validity of my expanded experience and operate from that certainty? We've reached the most crucial point of this revelation. You no longer need to wait for obstacles to diminish to begin operating with full power. This waiting is the last illusion that keeps you trapped in development cycles when you already possess the necessary capacities for direct manifestation. Popular belief says you need to wait until challenges become easier, until life cooperates more, until you feel completely prepared. But this belief ignores a fundamental truth. The obstacles have already completed their calibration work. The truth is that you've already developed neurological and consciential capacities that most will never develop. Each impossible obstacle you faced, each exclusion you experienced, each frustrating timing you navigated, all of this was building refined neural circuits in you that are now ready for immediate operation. Continuing to face obstacles after developing the necessary capacities is choice, not necessity. When you recognize that the training phase has ended, you can begin operating from conquered mastery, not from the need for more development. You're no longer in the process of becoming, you've already become. The person who began this journey of impossible obstacles isn't the same person hearing these words now. Your neurology has been fundamentally altered. Each unique challenge you faced created specific manifestor abilities. Your capacity to persist without evidence developed muscles of operational faith. Your experience with impossible timing developed quantum synchronization. Your navigation through situations without solution developed reality collapse through states of being. You're no longer the person who needs obstacles to grow. You're the person who grew through obstacles. These capacities are active now, not in some hypothetical future when you feel ready. You already possess the neural circuits necessary for quantum manifestation. The only thing preventing your immediate operation is the mental habit of relating to yourself as someone still in development, when in reality, you've already completed the necessary development. Living in the past means continuing to identify with the version of you that was still being calibrated by obstacles. Creating the new future means recognizing and operating from the version of you that has already been forged by them. True mastery doesn't shout, it simply manifests. You no longer need to prove your capacity through dramatic overcoming of obstacles. You can manifest from the silent depth conquered through all the challenges you've already processed. Silent mastery is effortless manifestation through refined neural circuits. It's operating from internal certainty developed through years of calibration, not from the need for more external validation through more obstacles. The obstacles fulfilled their function. They graduated you. Now the question is no longer, when will I be ready? The question is, how will I operate from the mastery I've already conquered? You already are what you were becoming. Now manifest from that truth. Do you now recognize that your unique obstacles were your graduation in superior capacities? that the calibration phase has already ended and you're ready to operate from this conquered mastery. If this content resonated with your evolutionary journey, subscribe to the channel for more revelations about the quantum codes of manifestation. Share this video with other chosen ones who need to understand the true nature of their unique challenges. And leave in the comments, what was the obstacle that most developed your manifestor capacities?